Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. Okay, so this conversation with Lily and Jack is in a lot of ways out of pocket because I understand that Jack and Billy has a history of Jack looking out for Billy, watching him fail, always that they're trying to be the bigger older brother to protect him and protect him pretty much from himself. Because like I said in my review yesterday, is that Billy can be an amazing person when he gets out of his own way, right? And, Lily tells him that, Billy fired him and this, that, and the third. But throughout this conversation, she is pretty much talking pretty greasy about Billy, and Jack does not bother to defend him whatsoever. Hell, there's one point where he even says, he's like, listen, if things really got that bad, you shouldn't have been the one that should have left. It should have been him. And I'm like, what kind of foul ass is that to sit there and say about your own brother? Like, the whole thing is just, and granted, he acts, why did he fire you for? Like, what, he asked, he was like, why did you choose to stay? If you knew that he was such a train wreck as a business person and this, that, and the third, why did you choose to stay? And of course, Lily lies. No, she tells a bit of truth as far as I stayed for Jill, I stayed for Catherine. But what you didn't sit there and say is, you also didn't sit there and say why you got fired too. You didn't sit there and tell Big Brother that you got fired because you was practically going to oust him anyway. And he just figured it out. You didn't tell him that, right? And so while that's going on, Nikki and Victor are talking. There's a couple of comments that Victor was saying about Billy, which was funny. But ultimately, what it came down to was Nikki being like, okay, she wants to sit there and help you take down the company. She wants her position back. The problem is, that business is going to be mine. So what is she going to do? And at first she was like, well, there's nothing wrong with that they're making her think that, she's helping us achieve her goals or whatever. It's like, you just pretty much need to say that you are going to lie to her. Okay. But Nikki doesn't like that, so he's like, listen, we'll bring her in, we'll sit down and we'll lay out our deal and everything like that. So he calls her up. She goes down to the office and she's like, all right, so everything is pretty much good, right? Or did you accept the terms of my deal? And he's like, not exactly. Or something to that effect. And she just has that look like, what? And I'm like, well, bro, you do realize that you are doing business with Victor Newman, right? You really thought that whole, because he knew Neil and everything like that, it was going to be all good in the head? And again, like in my other review, not see how he treats his own kids, but you thought you were going to be the exception. Oh, that's laughable. And I'm saying that for me only watching the show for about 3-something years, that's laughable. Now she's like, I thought you pretty much had a deal, I thought everything was like good and stuff. And he was like, well, before we get to that, what kind of information do you have on Billy? I gotta sit there and see if this is useful. That's like if I walk in my manager and I'm like, listen, I want a raise. And he brings me down there and I'm sitting there thinking everything's good. And I was like, so you're gonna give me a raise? Like, how about you sit down and talk about that? How about we don't? Like, how about we don't? How about you get to the point where you either sit there and say yes or no? Now, this conversation with Billy and Chance it's part of it. I'm sitting there looking and I'm just like, who wrote this? Because I feel like on some level, Chance would dial it down a couple of notches if he knew why Lily got fired. But once again, he oversteps. He starts being judgmental about how he's doing business. and start criticizing him about the way he's running his business, that he's not trusting anyone, he's a lone wolf, this, that, and the third. It's just a lot of judgy comments, right? And so after a while, Billy's like, you know what, listen. And also, he kept on saying, well, I think I have a right to an opinion. My name is on the door. I was like, yeah, name only. You do realize that he could fire your ass as well, right? Or are you forgetting that? And he's coming in strong. He's all like, I'm doing this for Joe. I'm doing this. He also did tell Joe about everything that was going on. So he practically just went behind Billy's back. Hey, so why did you not get the pink slip yet? I think the only reason was because your last name is Chancellor. Finally, he gets to his point after 20 minutes of him sitting there judging and criticizing him. He's like, I want to be co-CEO. You want to be what now? I'm sorry, you just entered the business world like what 2 months? You just want to shoot to the top. You have no experience. Honestly, to tell you the truth, again, you probably shouldn't even be here in the first place, except for your last name is Chancellor. He's like, why? I ran a whole police department. Cool. That's great. What the hell does that actually have to do with running a corporation? Listen, if you can sit there and tell me the parallels, I will gladly hear you out. But it's like, if I say no, well, then I leave. You should sit there and get your walking papers. But Billy's like, listen, give me a 5-year plan, and I'll look at it and we'll go from there. I sent it to your email. I give you a 10-year plan. Yeah, I was already. Okay. And then he leaves. And then Jack comes in and he's all fired up. He's ready to sit there and lecture him. Can't believe he did this. I can't believe you sat there and fired about Lily. And I know your personal life is in a sham and everything like that. And Billy just had it. Billy's pretty much like, get the out of my office. I'm done. Because let's be honest, he was already seen talking greasy behind his back to Lily. And I like Jack, but that's some out of pocket shit. So I do not blame him for sitting there practically tossing his ass out of his office. Um, Now Claire, Claire and Kyle, Claire wants to stay, but she only wants to stay till things get better. At first, it seemed like Kyle was going to fire her or let her go softly or whatever. He's like, listen, Harrison's going back to school, and so we may not need a nanny full time, and I don't want to sit there and hold you back from, whatever job prospects she got. Now she wants to stay, mostly until things calm down between Summer and Kyle. And he's like, listen. And then they talk about this whole eyelash thing and making a wish. I don't know what the hell that was about, but so after that, he's like, listen, things are actually on the ups with us. We're working it out. We're talking with our lawyers. We're doing what's best for Harrison, and we want to do that. We want to sit there and ease the tension, and everything like that. She's like, okay, that's great. And then he talks her into staying. And then he's like, well, you may actually need, we may actually need you a little bit more. This is where I'm just like, who wrote this shit? You just said that he's going back to school and, he's not going to get them many hours. Now you're like, oh, well, you may actually get some more hours now. Then he asks her out for dinner and a movie. And, just as friends, just to hang out as friends, because, that's what friends do. And she agrees. And that's, yeah, I think that's about it. Not gonna lie, it was kind of a whirlwind of an episode. I enjoyed it though. I did. I'm curious about how tomorrow's meeting is gonna go with Lily. You sat there and you trust the devil, and You might want to have to at some point go back to Devon and be like, hey, could I come back now? And see what happens. Um, anyway, that's all I can sit there and think of. If I missed anything, write it down in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video.